Okay. Well, speaking of things that go out with a bang and end on big ass cliffhangers, I finished recently the season 4 of The Boys. Um,
Oh,
yeah. Now,
how was it?
it was good, but I'm gonna be dancing around spoilers here. I will say
Okay,
whether intent, it's definitely not fully intentional because these episodes are produced and filmed and written like a year in advance at least. So
yeah.
there are so many parallels between Homelander and a former president in this show, in
Oh
this
Lord.
in this
Okay.
season in particular,
Oh
including
God.
including um, court trials and
Oh God. Really?
and uh,
Oh, I need to finish Gen V.
and some messy presidential stuff. I'll just leave it at that.
Oof.
Um,
Oof. Okay. Now
so
this has me excited. This has me excited.
so
Man.
so basically, here's the thing though. I like this season a lot. I really do. And yes, you will need to finish season 1 of Gen V, which is getting a season 2, I understand.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
and I'll be honest with you, I was waiting for it to really pay off in this season in a meaningful way, and for the most part, it was just a couple of cameos of characters from Gen V, and the virus that they introduce in Gen V plays a huge role in the story of this season of The Boys. So that's
Ooh.
part of
Okay.
what makes it important. Not to mention
Okay.
Victoria Newman. Victoria Newman is a huge part of the story in this season as well, and she's in Gen V too. So,
Okay.
you may remember her as the head popping vice president. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, there's a whole political campaign thing going on here, but yeah, Gen V is important, but it doesn't get the connection in terms of the characters introduced in Gen V doesn't become super important until the end of the show. Until like the last episode
Okay.
of season 4.
I have a small side tangent, but it's still related to the boys.
Okay.
So there was recently a premium live event that WWE hosted called Money in the Bank. Well, one of the sponsors for Money in the Bank was the boys. And you know what company name was plastered all over each Money in the Bank briefcase? They had the name Vought on the fucking Money in the Bank briefcases. I'm like, yeah, this is just a huge reminder that I need to finish Gen V.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely should. Here's
Yes.
here's what I will tell you, for the most part, as far as Gen V goes in terms of the boys. The two
Mm.
the two most important characters from Gen V in terms of relation to season 4 of the boys are
Mm.
oh hell, what's her name? Caitlin, I think it is, the girl who touches people and controls their minds, and
I think so. I could be
and
wrong.
and Sam, the boy that is in the that's in the underground prison that sees puppets. Um,
Okay.
they're the two most important characters in terms of the parts that cross over. Um,
Okay.
however, Gen V does introduce. I can't remember if he's been on The Boys before or not, but Gen V does introduce a Batman parody character called Tech Knight. Um,
I don't think I've gotten that far yet.
which technically Black Noir was already technically a Batman parody, but
Yeah.
Tech Knight even more so doubles down on it super hard because Tech Knight is a rich billionaire with a butler and a sidekick, and he's got
Yeah.
well, instead of a bat cave, he's got a sex dungeon. I'll just
Interesting.
I'll just
Okay.
leave it at that. But Tech Knight is introduced in Gen V, and he's a super smart billionaire detective guy like Batman. And he does also have like powers. he's like, like Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes character. Like he could like see people's like heart palpitations and shit, and be able to like
Yeah,
pick apart the whole what's gonna happen before it happens. That's what Tech Knight
like
is like.
like a premonition almost.
Yeah, that's Tech Knight. Um,
Okay.
well, he plays a big role in. He's introduced in Gen V and plays a big role in season 4 of The Boys as well. So
Nice.
there's a lot going on there. There is a lot of carryover. The virus, some of the characters introduced, all that's going to carry over into season 4 of The Boys. So yeah, you definitely got to watch it.
Was it? Didn't they say that season 5 was going to be the final season for the boys?
It is, and that kind of introduces one of the few problems I have with this season, but I will get to
Oh,
that in a minute. Well,
okay.
I mean, I'll just say right now, like the only real issue I had with this season is that it feels like a filler season that is basically setting up the conflict for the finale. It's not like nothing really
Got it. Okay.
nothing really gets resolved in this season. That's not to say it's bad. There are some really good episodes. There's one episode with Huey's dad that absolutely broke my heart. It is an amazing episode. You know,
Yeah.
there's some really good character moments in here. Some characters have some really really dark secrets exposed. Some people die. It's insane, but it doesn't go anywhere. Nothing actually happens this season. Like things happen, but nothing happens. There's no like grand finale payoff like there is in the other seasons. Like how season 3
Right.
had that huge fight between Soldier Boy and Homelander. There's nothing like that.
Yes.
There's nothing like that here. This is more like
They're gonna make us wait a whole nother year for season
yeah.
5.
The season ends
Fucking
on
cheap assholes.
the season ends on a huge but probably one of the most horrifying cliffhangers you could imagine. So
Oh man. Okay.
this is basically I think what they're building up to is in season 5. I think what they're building up to is a all-out war between the humans and the supes,
Really?
or like some kind
Okay.
of some kind of dystopian totalitarian, like the superheroes declare martial law and now they're gonna like it's basically
Ooh.
it's basically an excuse to exterminate their political rivals and shit kind of situation. Like basically it would be like the modern day equivalent of a bunch of red hats rounding up anybody who's different and putting them in internment
Mhm.
camps, you know.
I, I was gonna say I heard something that the Deep is still on that dark path that he's always been on since the first season.
Yeah, well, the Deep is on a dumb path is what he's on, but because he's
On a dumb path. Okay.
but he has some really fucked up moments in this season, and at one point I almost kind of feel bad for him, but then I realize but he falls back into a bad trap. But there's a lot of shit going on in this season. Characters who didn't have superpowers before now do, and some people lose theirs.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and we get introduced to a few new characters who I can only consider villains because they're part of the Seven. One of them is Sister Sage, who is the smartest person on Earth, like in the whole world. She is super brilliant, super smart, and it's uh,
So
home,
Albert
home
Einstein 2.0.
Homelander hires her as a sort of to like help him plot, but it's one of those things where like there's a lot
As
of
almost like an intelligence kind of thing.
there's a lot of tension between them because she knows that she's way smarter than him, and we all know Homelander has some very serious mental issues. He's got an ego.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, this is a man with a fragile ego allowing himself to be instructed by someone who he would normally see as inferior, and she takes full advantage of that and definitely throws some jabs at him and his intelligence level every now and then. Like
Oh, that's fantastic.
she mouths off to him in a smart person way because she knows she can get away with it because she knows that he needs her, you know. And so there's like a
That's fucking gaslighting at its finest, though.
there's oh Sister Sage is a professional gaslighter. Everything she does, every single thing she does in this entire season is with a driven purpose. None of it's on accident. And even when it looks like everything is starting to fall apart, that's just another part of her overall plan.
Fair.
If
Okay.
anything, I would argue that Sister Sage is the main villain of this season because she's not getting her hands
Okay.
she does not get her hands dirty on the front lines at all, but she is a puppet master pulling everyone's strings on both sides from behind the scenes the whole
God
time.
damn. Okay. No, I need to seriously finish Gen V like soon.
And the other
'Cause
character
this sounds fantastic.
the other character we get introduced to is Firecracker, who is a oh boy, she is a stand-in for basically Alex Jones. Is the best way to put it.
Okay.
She is a alt-right conspiracy theorist, like racist, horrible person with
Jesus.
with
Okay.
a schoolgirl-like infatuation for Homelander. Um,
All right.
and I'll put it to you this way: her followers are so messed up that they think it's more forgiving, or it's that they find it easier to forgive someone having relations with an underage person than someone having an abortion.
What the fuck?
Yes. So I won't give any more context for that because you just have to see where and how all that comes from. But here's another a thing for you. Like I said, literally everything that happens in this season, for the most part, not everything, but pretty much everything that happens in terms of superheroes and media and all that, it's all part of Sage's plan. She is running everything
Got it.
behind the scenes.
Okay.
And even when, yeah, like I said, even when things happen that you don't think should have happened, it was all something that she
Yeah.
wanted to happen the whole time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just, she's that kind of villain.
Got it.
And she's really good at it. I'll put it to you this way: this character is so smart that she has to, in order to feel, she's so smart that it becomes a burden on her, and she actually has to give herself a lobotomy every now and then in order to dumb herself down so she can relax or enjoy things like,
Jeez.
or enjoy normal things like sex and stuff, you know.
Jesus. Okay.
But her brain goes back. This woman can get shot in the head and survive because her brain is constantly growing.
God damn.
It's pretty nuts. So, yeah. By the way, it took me a few seasons to realize this, but literally every soup in the entire series, every last superhero, well, she doesn't have superpowers. She's just really, really that smart for the most part. I mean, I guess you could call her intelligence a superpower, but for the most part, maybe not all of them, but most of the superheroes by default all have super strength and are bulletproof. That's just like
Yeah.
a default
Yeah.
thing with them.
Mhm.
I've noticed that because I noticed that it's the case with a lot of them. But yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
anyways, in this season you'll see a few others. There's a character called Webweaver who's a Spider-Man parody. Like I said, there's Tech Knight who's a Batman parody.
Yeah.
They're all in here. It's really good stuff. I don't know. Firecracker, I think, is supposed to be a Wonder Woman parody. She basically replaces Queen Maeve in that, but she's more of the. Whereas Queen Maeve
I would
was
say.
Queen Maeve was more of the Amazonian Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Fire-
I was like, she gave off major Wonder Woman vibes. Queen Maeve did.
Firecracker is more of the Murica Wonder Woman.
Got it. Okay.
So, I'm not sure what her superhero equivalent would be, really, to be honest with you. But, so yeah, that is,
Maybe Captain Marvel?
no, well,
No?
outfit-wise, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
I could maybe
Okay.
see that, but um, but yeah. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this season, and there are definitely some really sad moments. It's the boys, so as you can expect, a lot of people are gonna
Yeah.
die. A lot of
Oh
people are
yeah.
gonna die. um,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm fully expecting people to die in this season.
but basically, the main conflict going on here in this season is a lot of political shit between Robert Singer and Victoria Newman, and Homelander getting involved in that. The Sister Sage pulling everyone's strings behind the scene, and then the boys trying to use the virus from Godolkin from Gen V and trying to reproduce it to use it as a weapon against both Victoria Newman and Homelander. It's supposed to be a superhero killing virus. Um,
Okay.
so, and meanwhile, Butcher is dealing with the side effects of the Temp V that he took in the last season, and it is,
Oh,
let's just say it's doing things to him.
good old Billy Butcher.
Yeah, yeah, he just
By far one of my favorite characters.
well, just wait till you see how the season ends as far as his character goes. Holy shit.
Okay. Ow,
Um,
I can't wait.
by the way, another I'm not going to give any context on who it is or why they introduce him because it's all very spoiler heavy, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in this season as well. Another Supernatural alumni returning to another because you know the guy who does The Boys is the same guy who did Supernatural, right? Er-
I didn't, but now I do.
Eric Kripke. That's why so many of the cast keeps returning. That's why we've had Jensen Ackles. That's why Robert Singer is the president. In fact, there's a Supernatural reference in one of the episodes of the season where Robert Singer calls someone an idiot. uh,
Really? Oh,
yeah,
I can't wait.
yeah,
Bobby.
yeah, because
Yes.
that's Bobby, and he goes his actual name is Robert Singer, and that's just
Uh-huh.
he goes by his real name in everything he's in.
Nice.
So yeah, he's Bobby Singer in Supernatural. He's President Robert Singer in The Boys. So, and
Okay.
I don't know, it's not confirmed, but I heard that Jared Padalecki might be in season 5. So,
Oh, that would be fucking awesome.
but yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, John Winchester, and Negan from The Walking Dead is in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this season actually, and he's really
Oh, I
good.
can't wait. I cannot wait.
The reason that it's so good too, by the way, is because all of his scenes are also scenes that Butcher is in, for good reason.
But okay.
So it's just a lot of back and forth between him and Butcher.
Is he Butcher's dad?
No, no. Let's just say they're former war buddies.
Got it. Okay.
And of course, there's also the whole thing with Ryan. Ryan plays a huge role in this season where he's slowly starting to learn that his actual dad, Homelander, may not be such a great guy after all. He's starting to grow a
Good.
conscience. Let's just say that.
Good. Good.
Um,
As
there
he
are
should.
there are some moments. It's fluctuating though. There are some moments where he starts acting like his dad and abusing his power.
Yeah.
But then there are moments where it feels like Butcher's getting through to him and he's starting to question some of the shit Vaught's having him do. So
Yeah.
so that's good. And Ashley, oh boy, Ashley. Woo! Man, she's a trip this season, let me tell you. Um some very interesting scenes with her and the finale, goddamn. Okay. Anyways, all I can say is like there's like I said, a lot of shit gets set up in this season with with no actual payoff because they plan on paying it off next season. So
in the series finale. Yeah.
yeah, so whereas the other 3 seasons all felt like self-contained stories that got wrapped up at the end of the season then moved on to something else, another conflict, this season feels more like it's the first half of a two-parter where season 5 is going to be part 2.
How much do you want to bet season 2 of Gen V is going to come out before season 5 of The Boys does?
It probably will, especially after how season 4 of The Boys ended. I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
All I will say is that, like I said, Caitlin and Sam are very important.
Okay.
So,
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of it has to do with more of Vought's manipulation of turning the bad guys into good guys and vice versa. Controlling the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that going on in this season. There's a lot of the bad guys doing bad things behind the scenes and then controlling the narrative to make it look like the good guys did it so people turn against them.
Right.
And it's very frustrating. It happens
Oh, I
quite a
believe
bit.
it.
So,
Like an emotional roller coaster almost.
absolutely.
Oh
So
man, those are the best kinds of shows.
my overall rating for this season, just because after you have Soldier Boy, you had Hero Gasm and all that, it feels lackluster compared to season 3.
Fair.
But it feels like they didn't go as hard. It's less edgy, less over the top. More, like I said, this season's more about building up the conflict that'll be resolved in the next one. But
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of tension behind what that potential conflict could be, because it has like catastrophic world-ending stakes here.
Yes.
So like this is where things are finally starting to get like genuinely serious.
Yeah.
So like the heroes are getting desperate. So I would give this season an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. That's still pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, season 3 was like a strong 9, if not 9.5 out of 10, and Soldier Boy had a lot to do with that.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
This season feels like a little bit of a step backwards overall, but it's still good. There's not a single episode that isn't enjoyable. It's just that the whole season overall feels like nothing actually happened. Nothing got nothing got resolved. Nothing, is just people died and now there's about to be a war. Yeah. So it's just the build up for the payoff, but it's still good.
Okay.
So, yeah.